finishing up. In a study done in the United Kingdom on the influenza virus, healthcare workers who were not vaccinated made it entirely the choice of the patient, while healthcare workers who were vaccinated were more likely to see influenza as a public health issue and therefore would recommend it to their patients. The healthcare system holds the most power in regards to influence patients and the general public's decisions regarding vaccines. This whole point, like, I'm not getting it. It might be a good point, but I don't get it yet. Like, I feel like, I mean, of course, your doctor, I mean, like, doctors have their preferences about, like, you know, your doctor might be like, I think this antibiotic works better for this, and I feel like that antibiotic people have more problems with, right? For, like, subtleties of things that aren't, like, you know, life-changing. But that's part of what, I mean, they're supposed to use that personal, you know, their personal beliefs to decide how to treat their patients. So the idea that they, I don't know, then I get lost in that paragraph about, like, they feel like they should change their opinions because they think that if they think vaccines are good, then their patients will get vaccinated. I don't know. But that's where I ended up with that paragraph. Okay. Universities and public school systems also hold power because they implement vaccination mandates prerequisites for attendance. Public schools are one of the biggest institutions right now that have requirements for vaccines. This has caused controversy in itself because the large community in public schools is extremely important to provide the safest environment to their students and faculty. While a lot of people gather in one place, the chances of outbreaks of infectious diseases are incredibly high, therefore making mandates for vaccines a necessary thing. I don't think you need that A-R-E, that R there. It's the bottom of page 4. Okay. The vaccine programs are probably the largest group that attain power concerning vaccinations. The vaccine programs? With a lack of support and confidence in vaccines in more and more people. Tiny thing I'm just going to go ahead and say, since I already started another video, is I'm not sure that it is more and more people who are just, you know, distrusting vaccines. I don't know, but I'm just questioning that. And I'm also wondering if, like, the fact that the coronavirus vaccines, you know, are obviously so new, maybe people are more worried about or distrustful of that particular one, but not more distrustful about vaccines in general. I don't know. You know, I'm going to say some things in here you definitely should ignore. Okay. With the lack of support. Gotcha. Okay, vaccines. I think you can just say vaccine manufacturers produce vaccines and then get a profit based off of the amount of revenue brought in. In the case of the COVID vaccine, the manufacturing company Pfizer is expected to have a profit margin of 25 to 35%. Meaning their profit could be close to $4 billion. You know. Merck is another pharmaceutical company who produces the Gardasil vaccine, which combines several subsets of the HPV vaccine into one. It is expected this vaccine will bring in $750 million to over $1 billion annually. As expected, pharmaceutical companies that produce vaccines bring in large amounts of revenue and profit off of their success. With more and more controversy arising about vaccinations, companies could be, could be out in jeopardy. I think you just want to say could be in jeopardy. You don't need to out. These companies will benefit from mandates requiring vaccines as it will raise the amount of vaccinations distributed and therefore bring in more money. If mandates are revoked and it is entirely up to individuals and whether or not they receive a vaccine, these companies will be the first institutions to suffer. True. Just my opinion here, I think focusing on the profits that will come from the COVID vaccine, I think was enough. I don't know. That's definitely kind of an opinion issue. But maybe you also could just, like, not spend so much time talking about that. I don't know. What can I tell you? Another kind of opinion thing. Okay. There are far more than just two sides to the controversy concerning vaccinations. As vaccines become a hot topic, especially in the world we live in right now, more and more people are putting more time into educating themselves on vaccinations. This has added the amount of debates that are faced in the medical world. Humans base a lot of their opinions on their rights and values. People value their health and often question the safety and effectiveness of the vaccines they're told to get. With the media, government, and healthcare providers all having differing opinions regarding certain vaccinations and vaccination mandates, the general public has more to has to do more in order to form an opinion which differs from person to person. I think your conclusion is almost there. I think there's some stuff there you could cut. Like, I mean, an opinion is going to differ from person to person. But I'll mostly leave that up to you, right? I think you can trim that up and make it a little more powerful. You might also consider, because you said especially in the world we live in right now, God, yes, you might consider talking some about, you're kind of hinting about the future a little bit here. Where did you talk about the future? I think you did. Yeah, the public has to do more, right? So overall, you could more so also focus on the, like, looking to the future. Often at the end of a scientific paper, especially, there's a section called implications, or like for further research. So you can also think in terms of that for your conclusion, like, I've said all this, like, what are the implications for the future? What are things we want to study in the future? Okay, I'm looking at your works cited fairly quickly. What I can see, it looks beautiful. Okay, I hope that's helpful.